I live on the island of Sodor, a little patch of land that sits within the Irish Sea just off the English coast, famed throughout the world for its rugged scenery, its quaint atmosphere, and of course, its railway, the North Western Railway. Ours is a company that has been called the world's largest heritage railway, as our fleet consists primarily of steam engines and outdated diesels. Every year, tens of thousands of people flock to the island to see us vintage engines in action. Of course, this renown stems primarily from the massively successful Railway series of children's books, and our endurance well into the 21st century is inarguably thanks to Sir Topham Hatt, better known as the Fact Controller. Thanks to his shrewd business acumen and tireless dedication to railway preservation, our line has remained functional and relevant in the modern world. Of course, it wasn't always like this. Indeed, 100 years ago, Sodor, like all British railways, was very different. At the turn of the last century, the nation's railway system was a chaotic mess. This was in the days before nationalisation, and so, as a consequence, railways sprouted up all over the country. Around this time, there were more than 120 different companies about Great Britain, sometimes 2 or 3 servicing the one region, and Sodor was no different. There was the Sodor and Mainland Railway, the Wellsworth and Sudbury Railway, and my group, the Elsbridge and Knapford Railway. As one might expect of 3 separate companies crammed onto the one island, there was intense rivalry between us as we jostled for the rights to the various freight and passenger services. This animosity was reflected across the entire nation, with railways fast becoming unprofitable. This was how the Sodor and Mainland Railway came to an end, closing in 1914. That same year, World War I began, and all of Britain's might was geared towards supporting this great conflict, including the railways, all of which were placed under government control. Throughout the course of that terrible war, the trains ran like clockwork and with unprecedented efficiency, and after the war, there was renewed interest in nationalising them. In 1921, Parliament passed the Railways Act. While not quite nationalisation, it did serve to condense the number of companies from 120 to 4. These were the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, the Great Western Railway, the Southern Railway, and the London and North Eastern Railway. As their name suggests, the lines of the Big Four were based on Britain's geography, which was a little problematic as Sodor was awkwardly positioned between the lines of the LMS and the LNER, with neither side willing to concede this territory, and with a special dispensation from Parliament, both were allowed to operate on Sodor. The Wellsworth and Sudbury engines became property of the LMS under the direction of the suspicious Nigel Zorro, while we of the Elsbridge and Knapford Railway were taken over by the LNER under the direction of the stern but fair Jonathan Starr. The Sodor and Mainland engines were privately bought and spent the rest of their careers working at the various industries around the island. Over the next few years, both sides added new engines to their fleet. Some were of new classes, others of new technologies. The rivalries were still there, but at the end of the day, we were all there to do right by our railways, especially during the Great Depression. This is where I will begin. My name is Edward, and these are the Stories of Sodor. The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned North Western Railway. These are the Stories of Sodor. The Great Depression, a very interesting time for Sodor. Like the rest of the world, the island had never known such economic hardship, and like the rest of the world, neither had its railways. To make ends meet during these hard times often meant carrying out large jobs from dawn until the dead of night. It was very demanding work, but we engines of the LNER were more than up to it. There were 6 of us at this time. Gordon, our express engine, our freight hauler, Henry, myself and James, mixed traffic engines both, Toby, our yard supervisor, and of course Thomas, our cheeky little shunter. Between us, there was no train we couldn't handle and no schedule we couldn't keep. While our efforts were not free of accidents or derailments, we never allowed such setbacks to impede our work, always striving to do right by our passengers and our clients. Indeed, we were a good lot. I remember the day when we nor'easters, as we were affectionately known, learned of our most important job to date. It began like any other, early, with Mr. Starr showing up to brief us. "Good morning, engines. First order of business. In order to help out with the increasing workload, I've arranged for another shunter to join us here on Sodor. He's fresh out of the works and needs the experience. Thomas, I'll leave him with you. Show him the ropes." "Right, sir. What's his name?" "Percy." "Percy? Sounds like a character straight out of a children's book. Does that make you the big bad wolf then, Gordon?" "I resent that. Settle down. Now, onto the really big news. After a lot of hard bargaining, I've managed to land us a delivery contract for a cargo ship from Cunard Liners called the Duchess. Ooh. Yes, this is a great opportunity for us, so it's important we do well. If we do, Cunard may well give us the exclusive contract for all their cargo ships that come to Sodor. Toby, make sure everything runs like clockwork. Keep those trucks good and organised. No worries, sir. Henry and James, we're likely looking at a heavy goods train here, so I want you two to double-head it." "Aye, sir." "Will do, sir." "Thomas, you'll be delivering fuel to the mines. Take Percy with you. After that, head back to the harbour on the double to help out Toby." "Right, sir." "Oh, what a pity I must take the express and I shan't be able to help." Yes, don't be so smug about it, Gordon. Just be presentable and on time. In other words, just myself, sir." Cool. Our main rival on Sodor was the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, or Middies as we called them, based over at Brendam Dock. Like us, they strived to do right by their company during the Depression. Unlike us, they were not above being devious to get ahead. "Now listen to me and listen good. The nor'easters are about to land the Duchess shipping contract. This is a huge opportunity for them and I'm not happy. Neither away, Mr. Zorro. I'm glad to hear it, Diesel. Now I want that contract and you lot are going to get it for me." "But how? I thought that—" "I don't expect you to think. I expect you to demonstrate your superiority, to show all others you are the finest engines on Sodor, the fastest, the strongest, the best looking, and dare I say the most devious." "Well, he's certainly right about better looking." "And devious is good, right?" "Of course devious is good. Devious is what's necessary to get ahead in these intense times of economic uncertainty. Devious is what you are going to use to get the Duchess contract. Don't you worry, sir. We got this covered. We'll show those goody-goody nor'easters what's what, or my name's not Diesel." "But if it's not Diesel, what is it?" Later that day, I was preparing to take a passenger train to Tidmouth, which barred me from helping the others with the goods work. As I was waiting to depart, Thomas was coming my way with a most determined look on his face. "Hello there, Thomas. Something on your mind?" "Yeah, I'm trying to find that new shunter Percy. You haven't seen him, have you?" "Afraid not, old chap. Then again, I haven't been looking." "Well, I hope he gets here soon. I'm about to set out for the mines." "I'd love to help you out, Thomas, but you know how Mr. Starr would react if I didn't get these passengers to Tidmouth on time." And that's my cue to leave. Good luck finding Percy, old boy. Here, the way things are going, I'll need all the luck I can get. "Thomas, have you found that shunter yet?" "No, not yet." "Go look up at the station. He might be there." "Okay, I'll go look." Oi, look out! Ow! Oh, sorry about that, sir. Yeah, that's all right. Just watch it in future, eh? Hey, I wonder if you can help. I'm looking for Thomas. Well, you found him. Oh, I'm Percy, sir. Nice to meet you. I understand this is your first job out of the works. Yes, sir, and I'm eager to get started. That's good, because I'm about to take a shipment of fuel to the mines up at Marston Heights. What say you come along? Sounds good, sir. No, Percy. You only call Mr. Starr that. It's just Thomas, okay? Yes, sir. I mean, Thomas. Yes, Thomas. Occasionally, engines from the mainland would come to Sodor. One of our more frequent visitors was Montague of the Great Western Railway, better known as Duck. While he preferred his nickname over his actual one, this did not prevent the middies from teasing him about it. Well, well, look what we've got here, Lily. A duck swallowed into the yard. Nature is a wonderful thing to be able to create a great green bird like that, and nature was very cruel to create engines that are both rude and funny. Ah, blow out your smoke box. We don't have time for this. We've got important work to do. Ooh, big shots are you? Too big for the Duchess, maybe? What do you know about the Duchess? Only that you middies lost out on the delivery contract and that she's almost here. What? But she wasn't due until... Who cares, Lily? Come on! Are you sure about this? Adam confirmed it with the Coast Guard, sir. Yes, sir. The Duchess is due to arrive at Knapford within the hour. Good, good. That's very good. Now I want that contract. Do whatever you have to do to get it for me. Yes, sir. This is Marston Heights coal mine, the largest on Sodor. One of our regular jobs was delivering shipments of petrol to the mines for its equipment. Thomas and Percy were just finishing up this run when a young woman walked up to them. Hello there, Thomas. Who's your new friend? Sally, mate Percy. Percy, this is Sally. Her father owns the mine. Hello there, Sally. Nice to meet you. You too, Percy. Thanks for the fuel, boys. Sorry we can't stop, Sally, but we've got to get back to the harbour. Okay, bye, fellas. Well, she was very nice. Yeah, for the most part, they're a good lot on this island. What do you mean for the most part? I mean, watch out for those middies. You see them, you know they're up to no good. Alright, now listen up. The train the Nor'easters are said to pull is going to be a heavy goods, which means they'll need Henry. We knuckle him, and we'll get the contract. Yeah, but he's bigger than us. He's hauling trucks out of the lumber yard, you dummy. You know how dodgy the points are around there. Yeah? So? So? You switch your set against him and he'll knock himself off the line when he runs over him. Okay? Stupid? That's happened to you more than once, Colin, so you should catch on. Yeah, I'll catch on, Diesel. You better. Get it done fast and get back here fast. Now get... Very devious, Diesel. Very devious. Well, if it isn't my favourite Great Western Pannier tank engine. How are you, Doug? Better for having seen you now, James. Oh yeah? What's up? Well, it involves the letters LMS. Ugh. Have those miserable middies been giving you trouble again? Indeed. I'll tell you what, it's a joke you have to share this island with them. You'll get no argument from me there. Still, at least today, we get to show them up. Yes, I know about the Duchess, and it might interest you to know she's probably in port already. What? Are you sure? Indeed. I had to wait for her to pass under the lift bridge on my way here. Bust my buffers! She's early. I've got to tell the others. See you later, Duck. See you later, James. Good luck. Hello there, Henry. Nice day we're having, eh? I guess. What are you two doing here? We're just here to pick up a delivery of wood. You know, just trying to make a living these days. Henry was right to be suspicious of the two middies. What he didn't realise was that, while he was talking to them, Colin's fireman was setting the points against him, which would knock him off the lines the moment he passed over them. He had no idea as he was setting out from the lumber yard that he was heading straight into a trap. Thomas, have you seen Henry? No. Why, is there a problem? The Duchess. She came in early. She's unloading now and her train will be ready before long. No, I haven't seen him since the briefing. Well, go and look for him and be quick about it. We'll need him to get this train rolling. Right away. James and Percy, we'll need to assemble the trucks pronto. Let's go. The Duchess isn't going to like it if we can't get this train out on time. I hope Henry gets here soon, Toby. The way this train's shaping up, I won't be able to pull it on my own. Aye, I hope he gets here soon too. Come on, Henry, where are you? Oh, there you are. Blimey, Henry, what's happened? I would say it's these dodgy points, but I'm sure it's no coincidence Adam and Colin were here right before it happened. Yeah, and I bet they scarpered the moment it did, the crooks. My driver's called for a crane. Unfortunately, one won't be here for an hour. An hour? Oh, that's just great, because the Duchess came in early and your train's almost ready to go. Well, you'll have to take it for me. Me? How can I do that? I'm a tank engine, not a heavy goods engine. There's no other choice, Thomas. Head on back to the harbour. I'm sure Toby will have an idea. I don't know.
You can do it, Thomas. It's just like any other train, only a little bigger. Show the Duchess what we nor'easters are made of.
Yeah, I'll try. Thomas quickly returned to the harbour and explained the predicament our number 3 was in. As Henry supposed, Toby did indeed come up with a solution. Thomas and James would pull from the front, while Percy would push from the rear. Our number 7 admittedly gambled the 3 engines would have enough strength and steam between them to get the train rolling. Okay lads, you ready? As ready as we're going to get. Alright, on my count, push and pull as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3! With pistons pumping and side rods straining, the 3 nor'easters struggled with all their might to get this heavy train rolling. Thanks to a lot of grit and determination, they succeeded, much to the dismay of the middies. Doesn't sound like your plan worked, Diesel.
If I can only get rid of that shunter, Percy.
Thinking devious, eh, Diesel?
No, just thinking contract. Look how slow they're going. This gives me an idea.
Although their run was barely underway, my colleagues had started off well. Percy was rather pleased, I'm sure, to have been trusted to help with such an important job, on his first day no less. However, Diesel was working a plot to scuttle our efforts, returning with a truck that he was not coupled to. He waited for the right moment to strike, which came as my colleagues passed on to the upline.
This is where we win the contract, lads.
Surging forward with the uncoupled truck, thinking no one was watching, Diesel stopped suddenly, but the truck carried on, careening straight into the back of Percy. Ooh! Startled by the sudden impact, he instinctively braked, causing the entire train to jerk. Hey, what's going on back there? There was a loud crack as a coupling gave way and the train came to a halt. Oh, so that's devious. Good job, Diesel.
Nicely done.
Well done, Diesel.
Better luck next time, chums.
Together with the guard, the engine crews inspected the damage and their findings were very grim. How's it look, Gavin? Oh, it's bad. The couplings on both trucks have snapped and they'll need to be switched out. And not just the trucks, but also the cargo. That'll take ages. Ugh, this is just the sort of delay we didn't need. Oh no, this is my fault. I fouled up. I fouled up big time. I'm sorry to say it did indeed take ages for both the damaged trucks and their cargo to be switched out. To an irate representative from Cunard Liners, Mr. Starr had to explain why the Duchess's delivery was so far behind schedule. During this heated argument, Diesel slithered into the yard to offer the representative the services of the LMS. Try as our director did, he was unable to dissuade him from taking Diesel up on his offer. We were soon booted off the train, replaced by Diesel, Douglas and Adam. I'm told the representative thanked them for their professionalism and apparent dedication to their clients.
Glad to be of service.
Oh, anyone who thinks that big black weasel had something to do with this, raise your buffer. Aye, the middies stood to benefit most from this, but we'll never be able to prove it. Well, there's nothing for it. Come on, lads, let's go back to the sheds.
Well, I congratulate you two.
Thank you, sir.
You're a good man, Diesel, with the right attitude. Oh, just one thing. Nobody saw you, did they? Not even, what's his name?
Who, Percy? No, sir. Nobody saw us.
Good. That's very good. I'll offer our full services package to Cunard Liners tomorrow. With the revenue we'll garner from such a contract, we'll be able to push the nor'easters off the island.
Poor little Percy. It just wasn't his day.
No, it wasn't.
The following morning, things weren't much better for our new recruit. Although Mr. Starr was rather kind, acknowledging that a supposed runaway truck wasn't his fault, the little green shunter struggled through his duties, his concentration mired by self-pity. Oh! Be careful, you clumsy green caterpillar! These are express coaches, not cattle trucks! Sorry, Gordon. I can see now why yesterday's foul-up happened. Come on, Gordon, that's hardly fair. And how is it fair we lost a profitable contract because of some little tank engine's incompetence? Look, I would stake my weight in coal that Diesel had something to do with that. Well, prove it, and we may pull out of this. Prove it? How am I going to do that? Good morning, Thomas. You look rather pensive. Yeah, I'm just trying to think up ways I can help Percy. Help Percy? Why, is he in trouble?
We had a little incident with the Duchess's delivery yesterday.
Huh, would it have anything to do with the truck Diesel threw up the back of Percy's bunker? Wait, you saw him do that? As did a number of my passengers. Sorry I didn't speak up sooner, but I've been running trains non-stop.
This is brilliant. Percy will be so relieved. I've got to tell the others.
Thomas, I'm meant to be heading that way and...
Sorry, Duck, no time to talk.
What the... Oh, I swear they must be a little batty on this island.
Percy, there you are. Listen, blimey, what happened here? Some fool didn't secure the trucks at the top of the ramp and they rolled back straight into Percy. Just send me to the scrapyard with the rest of this mess. It's where I belong. Not today, Percy. I just spoke to Duck, who saw Diesel throw that truck up the back of you.
You mean it wasn't my fault?
Not at all.
You think Mr. Starr will keep me on?
Oh, when he hears about this, he'll be begging you to stay.
Oh, this is such a relief. Thank you, Thomas.
Hey, what are friends for? So it turns out you were seen. Impossible. I made sure. Don't argue with me. You were seen. Now Cunard know what you did, meaning we don't get the contract and we won't get paid for running their train from yesterday. What's worse, we've been slapped with a huge fine for corporate espionage. What kind of idiots do I have working for me? Real devious ones? Shut up, Colin.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
Sorry, Mrs. O.
Sorry! Idiots, I don't want to hear sorry! Get out of my sight, all of you!
A few days ago, Percy was sent to the works, and I'm pleased to say there was minimal damage and he has been repaired.
Aye, that's great.
Good. And as for the rest of you, I hope you've realised the error about jumping to conclusions, about making snap judgments without having all the facts. As tempting as it is to apportion blame during a time of crises, doing so serves no purpose. Now, if you'll all look directly ahead, I would like to introduce our new number 6.
Aha!
You're right.
There he is.
Aye, welcome.
Percy, welcome to the LNER. We are proud to have you. Thank you very much. I'm proud to be here. Yes, and it seems we were wrong about blaming you.
Remember, this is the day, lads. Gordon actually gave an apology. Percy, like Mrs. Starr said, welcome to the Nor'easters.
We all let fly a chorus of whistles welcoming our new recruit, beginning a very long, very fulfilling friendship with the Green Saddle tank engine. In all honesty, I've never fully understood the concept of choice. This shouldn't come as a surprise, given that engines have always been built to serve a specific purpose, like pulling express trains, goods trains, or both. I wouldn't call this a bad thing, as such purpose gives us the drive to excel in our designated roles. That's not to say we come pre-built with the knowledge, of course. Like everything else, we cultivate our expertise through experience and training. Even I had to be shown how to handle trucks when I first came to Sodor, for I had spent much of my career up till that point as a passenger engine. Thomas and Toby instructed me in such work, often through strenuous means, which I am grateful for, as I became a decent mixed traffic engine as a result, if I do say so myself. When Percy joined our crew, Thomas and Toby took him under their wing. Again, their combined experience helped mould our number 6 into quite the accomplished shunter, one who took the odd train every now and then if the rest of us were busy. About 6 months after he arrived, Mr. Starr decided Thomas should show Percy our operations on the Farquhar branch, which our number 1 was delighted to do. Okay, Percy, here we go. First off, we got the Elm River. My driver reckons he'll one day just throw a line into the water from my cab. Next up, here's the watermill. If you're into anything green, you'll love this line. I am green, Thomas. Oh, right. This here is Dryo, and that there is its airfield. And here we have the old mill. What does it do? No idea, to be honest. I sometimes think it's just there for show. That there is Maithwaite. In the spring they deck the whole station out with flowers. That's the Toy Rex sawmill. The station itself isn't too far off. And there it is. What's down that line, Thomas? The Toy Wreck mines. There are shafts that run beneath the tracks there, so always keep an eye out for the danger signs. This stretch of track will take you past Hackenbeck, which is right there. A short ways up, you'll find a paddock and a tractor who runs it. Hi, Terence.
Hi, Thomas.
That's a quaint little cottage. Yeah, that's where Mrs. Kindly lives. She lives up to her name, I tell you. You'll meet her soon enough. And here we have Farquhar itself. So, Percy, now that you've seen the branch, what do you think? Oh, it's beautiful, Thomas. I will never get tired of working this line. That's good, because you'll see plenty of it today. Yes, Mr. Starr mentioned something about a quarry. Yeah, it's a stone quarry up in the hills. Oh, show me, Thomas. I want to see every part of this line. All right. Settle down. Let's go. At the end of the branch line is the Enofa quarry, which had always been a great client of ours, as we would take stone away from it and deliver supplies to it. And its engine, Clive, formerly of the Sodor and Mainland Railway, had always been a great friend of ours. I'd like to digress a moment to discuss the S&M's three engines, Neil, Clive and Matthew. As I said on a previous occasion, the trio were privately bought following the closure of their company. Aside from Clive, Neil worked the China clay pits near Brendam, while Matthew was purchased by the Carlton Lumber Yard. Thomas and Percy's presence on the branch wasn't just for orientation, of course. It was also to fill a large shipment of stone that needed to go out, as the quarry's manager had told Mr. Starr.
Good morning, Clive. Ah, Thomas, you young whippersnapper. There you are. I thought I'd have to take these trucks out to Knapford myself.
I was just giving our new shunter a tour of the line. Clive, this is Percy. Percy, this is Clive. Hello there, Clive.
My. The shunters keep getting younger, or I'm just getting older.
You're not old, Clive. You're ancient.
I can still give you a run for your money, Thomas.
Oh, I know you can.
All right, enough chit-chat. Time to get to work. I'm sure you noticed all those trucks on your way in. That lot, and more, has to go out by day's end.
By day's end? Is that possible? Of course it is, Percy. We're the Norreases. We can do anything.
The way I figure it, I'll organise the trucks while you two alternate taking them down to Elsbridge. I assume Henry will be there to take them on to Knapford?
He's already on his way.
Tops. All right, let's get started. Time to put you whippersnappers through your paces.
And my word, Clive did exactly that. All day long, Thomas and Percy bustled back and forth between the quarry and Elsbridge, where Henry picked up the long lines of marshalled trucks for delivery to Knapford Harbour. It truly was exhausting work, but together they chipped away at the mighty order until there was only one small line of trucks left to take. Whew! After today I'll sleep for a week. Quick question. Couldn't we have saved a lot of time and effort if Henry had just come up to take the trucks directly to Knapford?
Yes, we could have. The problem is the bridges and tracks along the branch aren't designed to support the weight of larger engines like Henry and Gordon.
Hasn't Edward been up this way?
He'd be the absolute largest engine that could. James too. Crikey, Thomas, didn't you teach us whippersnapper anything?
Plenty. Next I'm going to show him how to deal with certain old fusspots.
Don't let this one corrupt you, Percy. You did very well today.
Thank you. Yeah, you did good. In fact, I'll take the last lot of trucks down to Elsbridge. Are you sure? It's my turn. No, it's fine. You rest up here a bit, then head on back to Knapford. Okay, thanks, Thomas. See you back at the sheds, and see you later, Clive.
Later, Thomas.
I'm sorry to say Thomas's next run would be anything but routine. I can't help but wonder what might have happened had Percy set out instead of Thomas. The line between the quarry and Farquhar is a winding stretch of track that snakes its way up into the hills, crossing over the road and river several times. Every engine working this stretch knows to be mindful of pedestrians and cars, as much of this line is unfenced. As Thomas would discover, this was more serious than what we had been led to believe.
Afternoon, Constable. Oi, hold up there.
Is something wrong, sir?
My oath there is. Where are your cowcatchers?
My what, sir?
Are you deaf? I said, where are your cowcatchers?
I don't have any. I'm a tank engine, not a tram.
Don't give me lip, boy.
I'm sorry, Constable. What seems to be the problem?
The problem is any engine travelling along an unfenced section of track must be fitted with side covers and cowcatchers to prevent injury to any animal or person that may stray onto the line.
What? Since when?
Since the law was passed 2 years ago. Have you been travelling along this track in that time?
Well, yes, but I didn't know.
Ignorance is no excuse. Your regular law breaking makes this worse.
Come on, mate. We've been along this line hundreds of times without a single problem. Blind luck is no justification. The law is the law. I'll be handing you a ticket. Good day. Thomas surely felt ashamed as he set off. No doubt he was also terrified, as Mr. Starr was bound to hear of this.
We'll be right back. On Nick. Now back to the show. On Nick.
I too was anxious about how our director might react as I was late pulling into Knapford with the passenger train. Judging by the expression on James's face, he was just waiting to rip into me. Alright James, you clearly have something to say, so let's get it over with. Come now, Edward, I'm not Thomas. I would never revel in the suffering of a colleague. My left piston you wouldn't. I'm just mystified that an engine as reliable as you would ever be late. At least my reason is a valid one. Unlike that time you were slow in taking out that goods train. What was the reason again? Oh, that's right. You had fallen asleep. Hey, I'd had a busy day. I was exhausted. If you can't take abuse, James, don't give it out. Good advice, Edward. But this kind of behaviour is unbecoming of two engines parked in a busy station. You're professionals, so try and act like it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Edward, what is the reason behind you being 8 minutes late? A lorry had broken down on the level crossing near Carlton, sir. I see. Just like that, the matter was ended. Though our director was strict, he was also a reasonable man. However, I can't help but wonder if he might have said more had the station master not rushed up to him in a hurry. Sir! Sir! Take a breath, Willie. What's wrong? I just got a call from Elsbridge. The police need to talk to you about Thomas. The police? What on earth for? Willie rattled off our number one situation, which seemed truly ridiculous to us, especially the part about him allegedly violating some unknown law. What sort of nonsense is that? The law is never nonsense, James, but this does need attending to. Edward, I need you to take me to Elsbridge right away. Yes, sir. Our director was quick to climb aboard, and I was quick to be off, eager to help my friend. As I sped down the line, I couldn't help but ponder the identity of the constable who issued the fine. Indeed, I had heard of a hard-nosed officer who had just joined the Farquhar force, and couldn't help but wonder if it was the same man. Thomas, are you alright? I've been better, Edward. What happened? They said you broke some law to do with unfenced tracks? So, you've never heard of it either? No, neither have I. Mr. Starr? You're here? Would you prefer I wasn't here, Thomas? Hold that thought until later. Mr. Starr then went to talk with the constable, who was in the company of his supervisor. The trio spoke for what felt like hours, with Thomas and I languishing every moment. Finally, the supervisor voided the ticket on the grounds of this being a first offence. The issuing officer, who I believe was named Bentley, was none too happy about this. There we are, all sorted. Oh, thank you, sir. And I'm sorry you had to deal with this. Don't apologise, Thomas. I'm the one who's sorry. As director, it is my responsibility to ensure my people are made aware of all relevant laws and statutes. Clearly, I have been lax in this duty, and I will make it right. And our director wasted no time in doing so. First, he had a fence built along the unprotected sections of track leading up to the quarry. Second, he commissioned a number of legal seminars, making their attendance mandatory for us all. These were very dull affairs, as the instructor had all the charisma of a wet carrot. But I won't say these seminars were pointless, as they certainly weren't. We learned a great deal. Much of it was common sense, such as when it came to handling trainloads of hazardous materials, but there were also other, lesser known points, like the requirement an engine must whistle when it passes a signal box during night runs. Although no harm came from Thomas's actions, you can be sure the middies gave him no end of grief. Make sure you shunt those tracks just right, Thomas. You don't want to get pinched again. Push off, Diesel. So then I said, make sure you shunt those tracks just right, Thomas. You don't want to get pinched again. Very good, Diesel. Hey, a good telling off. Just what they needed.
Yes, well done, Diesel. Way to put them in their place. Well, someone has to. It's times like these, I'm glad I'm on the right side. Good afternoon, engines. Afternoon, sir.
Hello, Mr. Zorro. Who's this gentleman?
This here is Mr. Hunt from head office. He's been sent to orientate us on the legal points of our operations here on Sodor. Is this because of the nor'easters, sir? Why should we be made to suffer? We are made to suffer, Diesel, because of the Duchess incident. Or have you forgotten it was your actions that got us fined? No, sir. Good. Then give Mr. Hunt your undivided attention.
Thank you, Mr. Zorro. I'd like to start with the regulations regarding the storage and handling of hazardous materials, which states quite clearly in Articles 1 through 5. This sounds interesting. Do you know what a simpleton is, Colin? No, what is it? If you ever get the chance, look in a mirror and you'll find out. Okay. On the western side of Sodor, the main line terminates at the seaside town of Arsborough, linking up with the narrow gauge Mid-Sodor Railway. At this time, 5 little engines called this line home: Duke, Stuart, Falcon, Andreas, and Atlas. A point worth mentioning, I feel, is that when the Railways Act was passed, its unification statutes only applied to standard gauge railways, meaning that companies like the Mid-Sodor and Skarloey railways remained privatised. We always did well in our partnership with the MSR, as its lines connected us to many towns and businesses throughout Sodor's rugged west, giving us access to work that would have been impossible for a standard gauge line to perform.
My driver's been raving about this Amelia Earhart character for nearly a week now.
Mine too. Can't say I blame him. The first woman to fly across the Atlantic? That takes guts in my book. I wonder what it would be like to fly.
I imagine it would be just like rail travel, with its usual ups and downs. No pun intended. But then, not everything is rosy for aviators. Let's not forget Charles Lindbergh.
I know. How awful was that? Having your infant son kidnapped would have been bad enough, but to find his body? What kind of monster could do that to a child?
You said it yourself, Edward. A monster.
Okay, Edward, we're all done. That's your load, Duke. I still need Stuart's.
He's late. He should have been here 20 minutes ago.
Well, I can't afford to wait. There's a ship at Napford waiting to take this lot, and I need to leave right now.
And I'll make sure to have a few words with the impertinent scallywag when he arrives.
Try not to be too hard on him, old boy.
No promises, Edward.
Of course, had I known Stuart was but a stone's throw away, I would have stayed. I'm told he whistled, but I never heard him. By the time he reached Arsborough, I was long gone.
What time do you call this, youngster?
I know, Grandpuff, I know. I'm late.
What's your excuse?
No excuse, I simply dawdled.
How refreshing. I'll have a word with the manager and see if he can get a hold of Mr. Starr.
My run to Napford would be both uneventful and wet. All day long, dirty black clouds had been gathering in the skies above. Not long after passing through Tidmouth, the rain came bucketing down. When I reached the harbour, I was thoroughly drenched and very surprised to see Mr. Starr out in this wretched weather. Mr. Starr, what are you doing out here?
I just got a call from the MSR. Stuart arrived not long after you left. I need you to rush back to Arsborough and pick up his goods.
I can't, sir. I have to take a colliery train in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's right. Bother!
What's the matter, sir? The ship's not likely to leave in this weather.
On the contrary, the captain wants to leave before the storm gets any worse.
You're joking, right, sir?
You know these seafarers, Edward. The only time they won't set sail would be during Armageddon. There has to be someone. Percy! Percy! Stop whatever you're doing. I need you to head on up to Arsborough on the double.
Me, sir?
Your name is Percy, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then I must be talking to you. There'll be a train at the transfer yard. All you have to do is pick it up and bring it here. Can you do it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then get moving.
Yes, sir. Percy pressed bravely through the storm, fighting the wind and torrential rain. Unfortunately, his efforts would be somewhat in vain. He had no way of knowing that, in the time since I had left Arsborough, Adam had arrived. The Middies No. 3 sweet-talked Stuart into letting him take his goods. I'm sure he intended to deliver them to Brendam, and if he did, that would have been stealing, as we nor'easters had been contracted for the job. I'm sure Percy would have just ignored Adam as their paths crossed, but the arrogant Middy just couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Don't worry about Stuart's train, Percy. I got you covered.
You've got me?
Hey, that's my train! Give it back!
Finders keepers! Ha ha!
That slimy thief! Who's a thief? That engine! He's nicked off with one of my trains in violation of Article 219 of the Fair Transport Act. Well, he won't get far. The constable raced to the station master's office, telephoning Marston Heights with orders that Adam be waved down before he could pass through. I'm glad to say that he was, thwarting his attempted theft.
Hey, what's this? Is the line flooded? No, Adam.
We've received word that you have stolen this train, which is legally the property of the LNER.
Stolen? Rubbish! I was merely doing them a favour.
Well, until the police get this sorted, you're not going anywhere. Adam was forced to return to Tidmouth, where he, Percy, and their crews had a little chat with the police. I'm sorry to say that no charges were filed against the Middies number 3, as it was just as plausible, to the investigating officers I mean, that he hadn't stolen Percy's train and was simply doing him a favour by picking it up. He certainly wasn't going to confess to anything else. Regardless, Percy was able to take the train back to Knapford, travelling as fast as safety permitted. Upon his return, his cargo was quickly loaded on board the ship, which set sail immediately, despite the weather. While no charges were filed against Adam or the LMS, I can only imagine Mr. Zorro had a few words for him. Mr. Starr also had a few for Percy, commending him on his applied legal knowledge, which impressed us all. You're probably wondering at this point what became of Bentley. To be fair, we couldn't fault him for issuing the fine, but his behaviour towards us after his superior voided it left a lot to be desired. For the longest time, he lurked about the trackside like he was just waiting to hit us with some kind of infraction. Unfortunately for him, we never gave him the chance. He ultimately had to resign from the force following a scandal involving himself and the mayor of Farquhar's wife. With him gone, life on the branch improved dramatically, which we have continued to service diligently to this very day. Every business, big or small, has its risks. My driver told me that once, just after we'd heard about Diesel's accident outside Wellsworth. While I never saw it, I can be certain of two things. The numberless Middie groaned constantly about his predicament, and Mickey was listening patiently the entire time. Mickey belonged to the Fire and Rescue Service, essentially the fire brigade of the railway. Whenever there was an accident or a breakdown, the chief would be there in a jiff, ready to take the distress engine to the works if necessary. And in the event of a trackside fire, Mickey and his water trucks would respond with all due haste. Mickey was widely respected by both Middies and Nor'easters, as he belonged to neither. He was independent, charged with helping any engine who needed it, regardless of their livery. There were times he could be a little gruff, however, as he took his responsibility very seriously, often giving ponderous lectures to those of us who had mishaps. But who could really blame him? After all, he was largely the reason why Sodor's railways were so safe to travel, with just about every engine having needed his help at least once. It all started with Thomas puffing down the Farquhar branch with Annie and Clarabelle in tow. He was just passing the old mill when he spotted smoke in the distance and feared the worst. Oh no! Thundering towards the black pillar, he was relieved to find Mickey already at the scene. "Alright, good work there, lads." "Ah, Thomas, just in time to witness a successful drill." "A drill? Oh, that's a relief. I thought it was the real thing." "Ha ha, even if it was, this motley crew would have it good and sorted in no time. Isn't that right, lads?"
Yes, sir.
"So, what are you up to, Thomas? Sounds like Annie and Clarabelle are mighty full." "Oh, we are, Chief. Aren't we, Clarabelle? Indeed, Annie, fit to burst." "The way you two carry on sometimes, you'd think you weren't built for carrying passengers. Oh, you could be so thoughtless sometimes, Thomas." "Yes, they are full. I'm taking a load of workers to the new harbour being built near Elsbridge." "Oh, how's that going?" "Tops, since we don't have to deal with the Middies." "Oh, you companies and your rivalries. Well, I better get going. Nice work, Chief. Stay safe, Thomas." Elsbridge Harbour was a project conceived under the Sodor Construction Scheme, a government initiative aimed at creating jobs for the depression-racked island, which it did, especially for us Nor'easters. I must say it didn't take long for this place to take shape. That it didn't, dear Percy. It always amazes me how quickly they build things these days. You're certainly right about that. I can remember how it took 2 years for the main line to be extended all the way to Arsborough. At the time, we thought that was fast. when do you think this place will be open for business? Soon? They need to do some serious dredging to allow for deep-draught ships to approach first. They'll be starting on that as soon as Thomas gets here. Speak the devil's name and he appears. Ah, Thomas. So good of you to come. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. Got held up with Mickey in the fire drill he was conducting. Ah, that Mickey. We would be lost without him. You're certainly right about that. Leave Annie and Clarabelle, Thomas. There's a line of trucks next to the station. Could you bring them over here, please? No worries. Hang on. Wasn't James meant to be here? An hour ago, yes. I don't know what's keeping him. Perhaps he wouldn't leave the shed without a 6th coat of polish. Only 6? He must be cutting back then. But as it turns out, it wasn't James's vanity causing delays, but rather the turntable he needed to use to get out of Carlton Yard. It had jammed while it was being aligned to his siding. While the workmen struggled to repair it, our number 5 was fuming.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Take it easy there, James. How can I possibly take it easy when I'm running late? Mr. Stoddard is going to have a fit.
He can't possibly blame you for this.
Don't be so sure.
James couldn't get on the turntable fast enough when it was finally fixed, but he would suffer another delay as Douglas was using the very track he needed to access his train.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Hey, Douglas, hurry it up.
Don't get snippy with me, James. I've got my own work to worry about.
Well, do it quickly. I'm running late.
That's not my problem.
Not yet, it isn't.
Oh, you want to be like that, do you? You smarmy little... Oh, that's gone and done it.
Well done, you idiot. If I didn't already know you were incompetent, I'd think you did that on purpose.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. I jeopardised my record just to inconvenience you. Hear that, lads? Dougie's a saboteur. Shut it, you lot. I'm in no mood for your lip.
Good thing I still have plenty to give.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
It took a bit of frisking around before James was finally able to back down onto his train, as Douglas's derailed trucks didn't block off the siding he needed to get to.
What are you smirking at?
Oh, I just realised there's a silver lining to all this.
Oh, aye? And what would that be?
That you have to explain this to Mickey. Have fun.
Savouring his rival's misfortune another moment, James set off as fast as he could. Our number 5 tore down the main line at a fantastic speed. Dare I say, he gave Gordon a run for his money, appearing as a crimson blur to all those he passed. I'm sorry to say this fantastic speed was what led to the incident. He was going so fast that the axle box of one of his trucks started to overheat and spark. In the darkness of the tunnel, the guard noticed this and threw on the brakes.
Oh, what now?
After inspecting the truck, the guard reported his findings to James and his crew. In his opinion, they could still go on, but they would have to do so at a very slow pace or risk damaging the truck further.
This entire day has been an absolute joke!
There's nothing for it, James. Either we move slowly or we wait until the axle is cooled. Since he was already running so late, James opted for the former option. Of course, he had no way of knowing that, at the other end of the tunnel, an errant spark from his truck had landed in some dry brush and was already starting to simmer. What do you make of this Hitler bloke? Don't know. I gotta say, his rise through the German government boggles the mind, and his popularity... Crikey, even the Kaiser didn't have that kind of loyalty. I heard he's looking to undo the Treaty of Versailles. I don't see why. The Germans started the Great War. They should have been made to pay for it. I was built long after that war, Thomas. I've heard nothing but bad things about it. I was around during it, Percy. Even so, without having actually been to Europe, I'll never know just how brutal it was. But the men who were there all say the same thing. It was the war to end all wars.
Sorry to change the topic so suddenly, Thomas, but look over there.
Oh, this is too easy. Crikey, James, no wonder you're late. You're giving new meaning to the term slow goods.
Oh, don't start, Thomas. I am not in the mood.
All right, no need to bite his smoke box off. I was only joking, mate.
I'm sorry. It's just been a rough day.
How so? Blimey, what do you think that was about? If it involved Mickey, his water trucks and his siren, I got a pretty good idea. Yes, it was indeed the fire caused by James's sparking truck, which was quickly spreading.
Fortunately, Lily happened to be nearby to raise the alarm, with Mickey arriving in short order.
Thank goodness you're here, Chief. That fire is quickly spreading. Damaged power pole, I see. Has Sodor Electrical been notified? Yes, sir. And they've shut off the power. All right, lads. Go to work.
Like they had practiced 100 times before, the firemen spilled out of the works coach and took hold of the hoses bolted to the underside of the water trucks. Like the well-oiled machine they were, they set to work dousing the flames. The fire was quickly extinguished, leaving behind nothing but scorched earth.
Good work, lads. Top form as always. Now, to find out how this happened.
The nearby signalman was called in as a witness. While he didn't outright accuse James of having any involvement, he did let it slip just how fast our number 5 had ripped past his signal box. I'm sorry to say that put him at the top of Mickey's suspect list. I wouldn't want to be James right now. Mickey was quick to catch up to James, and after a discussion with our number 5's guard, the cause of the blaze became apparent.
Well, what have you got to say for yourself?
Chief, I'm sorry, but I was running late and...
Running late? James, a schedule is no excuse to compromise on safety.
Mr. Starr really doesn't like it when we're late.
And you think he likes it when his engines start fires?
Mr. Starr?
I can't believe it, James. I simply can't. How could you let this happen?
Sir, with all due respect, you're always telling us how important it is we keep to our schedules.
James, that day Edward was late. What was his reason?
A broken down lorry, sir.
Was that his fault?
No, sir.
And it wasn't your fault the turntable at Carlton jammed or that Douglas's trucks became derailed. Those setbacks were well beyond your control, and I'd be a fool if I blamed you for them.
I'm sorry, sir.
Mr. Starr, James's actions have caused severe damage to the power grid. All of Lower Nappet is likely to remain dark until we can replace that pole. I've already spoken to Sodor Electrical, Chief. We'll be covering the cost of the repairs. In order to pay for this, the rest of you will have to take on extra jobs. What about the payment for the harbour contract, sir? Unfortunately, the government has been a little lax in advancing us the money. Oh, bother. I know, Thomas, but we have to deal with it. James, you'll be working at the mines until further notice.
Yes, sir.
I am very disappointed in you.
And so you should be. The following week was absolutely grueling for us nor'easters. James was stuck at the mines with the teasing trucks for company, while the rest of us had to undertake extra jobs on top of our own work to pay for the damage. What made it worse was that Diesel had apparently been nearby during the exchange with Mickey and Mr. Starr, meaning the rest of the middies found out in short order and were quick to give us grief.
You look quite smashing with those trucks, Gordon. Oh, be quiet! Ha ha ha! What the... Cheek...
Is something wrong, Gordon?
There's plenty wrong, Percy. Forcing an express engine to pull trucks.
What an indignity! What a blemish on the LNER!
Oh, you poor thing.
Spare me the impudence, Percy.
You're not the only one to suffer, you know. Me and Thomas have shunted just about every truck in the island twice over.
Thomas and I.
Oh, whatever.
Where is your partner in cheek, anyway?
I think he's at Wellsworth.
Thomas was indeed at Wellsworth Yard, which had been upgraded as part of the Sodor construction scheme, but not by us.
Okay, almost there. Just one last... Whew. Finally. Now I can catch my breath. Hello, Thomas. Oh, bother. I don't think he's happy to see us, Diesel. I think you're right, Colin. Look, I've had a hard week. Last thing I need is for you two to give me grief. All I said was hello. No need to get all fired up. Ha ha ha. I don't get it. Oh, shut up. So, what do you think of the yard, Thomas? A thing of beauty, ain't it? All made possible by the superiority of the LMS. Your mob did this? Oh, that explains why half the points didn't work at first. Oh yeah? Well, forget it. I ain't wasting the effort on you. Come on, Colin. We're out of here.
All right, Diesel. Let's...
Achoo! Excuse me. I told you to get your smoke box cleaned out. It is now. Good and empty. That was a given beforehand. Bout up, Thomas. Come on, Colin. Let's leave this member of the Firebug Brigade to his work. Firebug, eh? Let me tell you. Wait! Stop! Oh yeah? Why should I? Because your trucks are on fire. What?
Oh, bother! We need to do something before the shed goes up. Don't worry, Diesel. I'll push the train out. Colin, don't!
Whoops.
Nice one, dummy. We'll probably lose the whole train now.
It's worse than that. There are 2 tar wagons back there. If they go up, half the yard will go with it. What do we do?
I know what I'm doing.
As fast as they could, the 3 engines retreated to the far side of the yard, the fire quickly spreading along the train. Reaching a safe distance, the workmen followed suit. But after the foreman did a head count, he discovered a problem.
Wait!
Where's Cooper? I last saw him near the water tower.
Bother! We have to go back and look for him. Are you nuts? It's too dangerous. Fine. I'll go back and look for him. You stay here where it's good and safe. I will. And if you get blown up, don't expect me to cry for you.
Blimey! Look at that! Help! Help! There he is! We'll get him! Alright, Thomas, let's get out of here! Gladly!
Ow! Oh, bother! Richard's safety valve!
Gavin? John? If you tell us to leave you, Thomas, I'm gonna belt you with me shovel. Look, I can't move, and don't worry, I got you.
Colin? You're actually helping me?
Of course. Right, let's go.
I must be the only sensible engine on this island.
Come on, you two, get out of the way. Careful, Chief, there are tar wagons in that shed. Right, thanks, Thomas. Whew, glad that's over. That could have ended very badly,
And it wouldn't have happened at all if not for the actions of a certain dim-witted tank engine.
Don't worry about it, Colin. You were trying to do the right thing. Thanks for helping me. You're welcome. After he was done at Wellsworth, Mickey delivered Thomas to the works at Crovan's Gate. In the nearby transfer yard, Percy Scarlowi and I had been working and were expectantly surprised to see him. I say, Thomas, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a burst safety valve.
How did that happen? Thomas overdid himself trying to save a workman from a fire at Wellsworth, which I am not proud of.
Come again, Chief? Your actions, Thomas, while well-intentioned, were nonetheless reckless. What was I supposed to do? Just leave Cooper? Ideally, no. But self-preservation exists for a reason, to make us think before acting foolish. Did it ever cross your mind that I could have been delayed? Or that those tar wagons could have gone up at any moment? If they had, you might be a charred husk by now. I did make it, Chief, and that's only because Colin was willing to help you, which is another reason why your actions were foolish. You endangered others. Let's not forget about your crew.
Point taken, Chief. Good. However, it'd be cruel of me not to commend you for your bravery. Well done. Hear, hear, Chief. Thanks, Edward. It was almost a month before the repairs were completed at Wellsworth, with the middies footing the bill, which is something I'm sure Mr. Sorrow wasn't too thrilled about. Not long afterwards, Mickey gave both sides a long, dull lecture on fire safety, but something he said that day must have stuck, as it was a good long time before another fire happened on Sodor, at least one that was the fault of an engine. But that's a story for another day.
We'll be right back. On Nick. Now back to the show. On Nick.
My career first began in 1891 as a passenger engine for the Furness Railway. For many years I performed this duty well, delivering commuters and holiday makers about my small line,
until 1907 when I was purchased by the newly formed Elsbridge and Knapford Railway on the island of Sodor to be its primary passenger engine. This was where I met Thomas and Toby for the first time, and we three hit it off immediately. After I was repainted and numbered, I set to work alongside my new friends. We were a grand team that worked hard to keep our passengers happy. For any wise engine knows, a railway's public image depends on how well it runs these services. More often than not, we had to push ourselves hard to meet our timetables, as passengers are not shy about voicing their grievances. When our line was taken over by the LNER in 1922, Mr. Starr informed us we would be running express services between Knapford and the mainland, and that the engine who would pull these trains was named Gordon. At first, we were apprehensive when we heard this, for express engines have an unflattering reputation for being boastful, arrogant and prideful. But to the credit of our number 4, the day he arrived he was most courteous and eager to get to work, and my word, did he make an impression on the passengers, quickly garnering a reputation for his unwavering reliability, receiving heavy praise for it. I'm sorry to say this went to his smoke box and he became just another arrogant express engine, one who also had a rival. This nemesis was Reginald, the Middy's express engine. The pair were constantly vying for supremacy of Sodor's express services, delighting in the slightest setback as suffered by the other. It was early one morning in the autumn of 1936 when Percy was incapacitated by a severe case of boiler ache. This was a very serious problem, as he was the only shunter at Knapford at the time. None of us were available to shunt the coaches for the first passenger runs, as we were either taking on coal or tending to other trains. Mr. Starr was forced to telephone lower Knapford, where Thomas would be. Our number 1 was quickly fired up and sped to Knapford, where he hurried to make ready the coaches. In all honesty, I think that morning was the best performance he had ever given. Looks like we have a beautiful day ahead of us. Prime weather for the people of Sodor to see me in all my... Wait, what's this? An empty platform? What's the meaning of this? I swear Percy has overslept again. Steady on there, Gordon. Didn't you say he wasn't feeling well last night? Balderdash! I always pull the express, irregardless of the weather or my health. I'm sure Mrs. Starr has made arrangements to fix this. Ah, see? Look over there. No wonder there's a delay. I say, Thomas, you are aware of how this arrangement is supposed to work, aren't you? How it's customary for the coaches to be at the platform before the engine arrives? Get off my buffers, Gordon. I was asleep at Lower Knapford when I got the call. The passengers won't care for your excuses, Thomas. Neither will I. There was nothing stopping you from shunting your own coaches. Me? Shunt? How can you be so vulgar? Look, just get on over to the platform. I'll be right there. Fine. Me shunting coaches. Impudent wretch. Oh, for goodness sake. Shake a wheel, Thomas. The passengers are becoming irate. Me too, you galloping blue sausage. What was that? Nothing. If you can't say it to my face, Thomas, don't say it at all. You know he's doing you a favour, right? Hardly. It's his job to shunt coaches. I mean Mr. Starr. How so? He actually called Thomas in when he could have just as easily told you to fetch your own coaches. And if he had, I would have told him exactly what he could do with that order. Oh, would you now? Yes, I most certainly would. Starr may be our director, but it's important he knows an engine of my stature does not shunt. I hope I'm around if you're ever able to tell that to his face. Yes, so do I. Finally. Why did I think he was going to say thank you? Wishful thinking? A fool's wish. Don't talk like that, Thomas. You did an outstanding job like always. I'll make sure Mr. Starr hears about this. I was determined that this day would not be the first time. Our number 4 rocketed down the tracks. Of course it wasn't just for his worth or that of his timetables that he was travelling at top speed. Just past Wellsworth is the Preston Incline. Every engine who wishes to climb this steep gradient knows to approach it at maximum speed or risk getting stranded upon its slope. Ready for the incline, Gordon? Always, Anthony.
Aha! I could do that going backwards. Ah, Gordon, there you are. I was about to dispatch a search party. Search party? Why? Do you mean I'm late? By a whole 2 minutes, dear brother. That confounded tank engine! What tank engine? The cheeky scoundrel who shunted my coaches. Not only was he not at the station, as is his place, he proceeded to dawdle and then insult me. What did the wretch say? I didn't hear. And did you think he had the nerve to say it so that I could? Pah! Of course not. To the last, shunters are impertinent scoundrels. Still, we need them. We can't lower ourselves by fetching our own coaches, now can we? Certainly not. My, what have we here? Oh, bother. So it's finally happened. The Nor'easter's prize engine arrives late at the platform. What a shame. Never mind, Gordon. It happens to the best of us. And causing accidents? Does that happen to the best of us as well? It wasn't an accident. I derailed. Simple as that. So simple it made the papers? Alfred, how did that headline in the Times read? Incompetent engine causes delays. Yes, that's it. I must confess I am envious though. In all my years I have never graced the pages of the London Times. I only hope my first time will be just as rewarding, as you are clearly reaping the benefits of such fame. What do you mean by that? Why else would an express engine be forced to fetch his own coaches? I always do. You mean you don't? Did you hear that, Alfred? He says he always fetches his own coaches. I know. What kind of an express engine are you? One who knows the value of hard work. And if shunting my own coaches means I never become a snobbish nor'easter, I will continue to do so until the end of my days. Now, if you'll excuse... Ouch! Oh, blast! My safety valve has burst. Well, that's done it, Reggie. You won't be going anywhere else today. Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? In light of this unfortunate occurrence, the LNER is more than willing to offer transportation to those wishing to come to the island of Sodor. Never mind, Reginald. I'm sure this happens to the best of us as well. Well, I'd best be on my way. It's time your passengers were treated to a robust and reliable engine like myself. You'll get yours, Gordon! I say, Gordon, well done. Thank you, Alfred. Give my regards to our brothers and sisters in London. I certainly shall. I was right. Today is indeed a beautiful day. Good afternoon, Toby. Gorgeous day we're having, isn't it? My, aren't we, Chipper? What's brightening your day so much? Oh, a great many things, the most satisfying of which was Reginald breaking down at Barrow, and following up close behind was that I was able to deliver his passengers to Knapford, thus bolstering our image and our takings for the day. Really? Well done. Thank you. Now, what would have made it perfect was if Thomas hadn't... Oh, no, you don't. I beg your pardon, Toby. Edward told me what you said this morning at the station. I won't stand here and listen to you insult him again. Toby, Thomas dawdled and I set out late. That's a fact, not an insult. And it seems your late departure was to our benefit, wouldn't you say? You can't use blind luck to justify tardiness. No, but I can. Ah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Gordon. Toby, afternoon, sir. I've just come from the station where the passengers are singing your praises, Gordon. Thank you, sir. Anything for the LNER. I'm glad you're so agreeable, Gordon, especially since you'll have to shunt your own coaches tomorrow. Excuse me, sir. Percy is at the works, but it's unlikely he'll be repaired before then. And before you ask, Thomas is needed elsewhere. Besides, I've noticed you've been a little too puffed up in the smoke box lately, and some simple work will do you good. I trust that won't be a problem? No, sir. Good to hear. Well done, Gordon. You certainly showed him. Of course, I never told Mr. Starr what Gordon had said that morning, but somehow I get the feeling our director knew. My amusement quickly soured as Gordon complained bitterly throughout the night and early morning about the supposed indignity of an express engine shunting his own coaches. Nonetheless, doing so, the silver lining for him was that his coaches were organised in a timely manner and he was able to set out likewise. However, this run would be fraught with problems for our number 4. Once more ripping through the countryside, brooding over his perceived humiliation, he actually forgot about the Preston incline, realising too late that he wasn't travelling at his top speed. "Gordon! The incline! What? Oh no!" Gordon surged forward with all his might, but it was too little too late. The steepness of the climb and the weight of his coaches caused an immense strain on his system. To be honest, I'm amazed he got as far as he did before it happened. Oh, bother! Well, that's torn it, Gordon. You've burst your cylinder valve. Yes, Anthony, I am aware of this. It's from the shunting, I tell you. All that frequent stopping and starting is not good for my system. Whatever, Gordon. You'll need to go to the works to get this fixed. I am also aware of this. How could this situation become any more humiliating? Why did I have to ask? Robust and reliable, eh, Gordon? Like always, Mickey was quick to respond and took Gordon to the works where Mr. Starr was waiting for him. What could have been an amiable disagreement between the two soon devolved into a full-fledged row, as this time Gordon didn't lose his nerve. He told our director right off, according to Scarlowy, and also according to Scarlowy, he used the word fool at least twice. For his gross insubordination, Mr. Starr put Gordon on goods work for the next month. During this time, James and myself alternated taking the express. I'll admit, I enjoyed the prestige that came with these runs, but didn't let it go to my smoke box, unlike James. Come now, Gordon, back to Knapford. These coaches will need shunting after all. Oh, clear off you! I'm sorry to say Gordon's mishap with the express would not be the only one we Norrises would suffer through. It happened on one of the days James was to take it out. Percy was back from the works and shunted the coaches as normal. Our number 5 would later admit he hadn't been concentrating that morning as he backed down towards the platform. I wonder if I can beat Gordon's time to barrow. Ouch! Careful there, James, I'm still back here. Oh, don't be such a baby, Percy. It was just a little knock. Well, take it easy with these coaches, will ya? They're overdue for maintenance. Yes, all right. So long. Of course, James could never hope to beat or even match Gordon's time, but that wouldn't stop him from trying. He made excellent time along the line until he heard a faint, hissing noise. Hey, Andrew, do you hear that? Hear what? All of a sudden, his brakes slammed on hard, forcing him to stop over a level crossing. What the? Was that you, James? No, that wasn't you. No, maybe it was the... Oh no. What? What is it? I was going to say the guard, but I think I know what it actually was. James's suspicions proved to be correct. It turns out the hiss he was hearing was a leak in the brake line between himself and the front coach. So long as it was open, his brakes would remain locked on. We need to find a way to plug it. Here, take my newspaper. What are we going to use to tie it down? Hang on. Okay. There we are. Bootlaces? Bootlaces? They'll never hold. All right, settle down. I'm not happy about this either. Never mind, just do it. The newspaper was tied down tightly over the hole. Amazingly, it worked, and James's brakes released. The guard who donated his laces had to shuffle back to his cab. Now able to move, James dashed along the line, but he couldn't risk travelling at full speed in case the hole reopened. He had to moderate his pace, which made for a very slow express and a very late arrival at Barrow. Goodness, James, if you went any slower, you'd be going backwards. Blow out your smoke box, Alfred. Pah, you could be sure Gordon would never use such language. I'm sorry to say James's passengers were fuming as Alfred picked them up to take them on to London, where they would voice their complaints to head office itself. Mr. Starr would be informed of this, but he didn't take his frustration out on James. Indeed, he took partial responsibility for the incident as he had ordered the coach's maintenance be delayed in order to save money. But the damage to our reputation was fierce. 2 high-profile incidents in close proximity, both involving passenger trains, did not make for an attractive package to prospective travellers. Our passenger fares dropped off dramatically for a time. Thankfully, we still had our goods work to keep us afloat. But that's a story for another day. Goods work, the lifeblood of any railway. While its true passenger services are important to a company's public image, it's also true that a railway derives the majority of its revenue from freight services. Factories, mines, and other industries will often utilize trains to transport their goods due to our efficiency and our affordability when compared to those services offered by the roads. And as I mentioned last time, our goods work covered our losses when our passenger fares dried up following Gordon and James's mishaps with the Express. What I didn't mention was that Henry was the primary reason why we were able to stay afloat. When it came to passenger trains, admittedly, we in the middies were on equal footing in terms of capability, but Henry was the reason why we always held the upper hand in goods work. This is quite remarkable considering the somewhat sad origins of our number 3. He was built in 1919 off of plans stolen from Sir Nigel Gresley, the man who would become the chief engineer for the LNER. A cross between an LNER A1 and a GNR C1 Atlantic, he had a potentially strong pulling power but a woefully inadequate sized firebox. This meant he always had trouble building up and maintaining steam, causing him to break down on numerous occasions. The men who stole the plans were eventually arrested, and when the LNER's board of directors discovered the fruits of their ill-gotten labours, they were admittedly impressed, as they saw enormous potential in this hybrid engine. But before he could be of any use, he would need a complete overhaul. This was how he came to be on Sodor, where he was given such an upgrade. Now fitted with a properly sized firebox, his true potential was reached. He became our heavy goods engine, much to the dismay of the middies who lacked such a figure in their fleet. As such, they often had to juggle the goods work between them, often double or triple heading the larger trains. More often than not, Donald and Douglas were the ones who handled the middies' goods work. Unlike most of the engines in the middies' fleet, the Caledonian twins were actually quite pleasant chaps you could hold a conversation with. However, James and Douglas did not like each other in the slightest, but that's a story for another day. The pair even got along relatively well with Henry, at least sometimes. Most of the time, however, they were just as adversarial as Gordon and Reginald. It all started with one of Henry's usual late-night goods runs to Barrow. As always, he dropped off his train on time and picked up another one for the return journey. Also, like always, he was quick to leave the yard, for it lay right next to the scrapyard, a place that gives all engines the willies. Our number 3 made good time on his return trip to Knapford. Upon crossing the viaduct, he spotted a certain pair of Scottish twins whose faces were as long as the train behind them. I'm sorry to say this would be one of those occasions where the trio were not civil towards each other.
Evening there, lads. Having a spot of bother, are we?
It's none of your concern, Henry. Aye, you just toddle off.
You sure you don't need a helping buffer? Maybe a wee push to get you started? Sure looks like you could use it.
No, thank you.
Alright, if you should change your minds, I'll be back at Knapford asleep in my shed.
Night, lads. Oh, I'd like to give him what for. He's not worth the trouble, Donny. I'm not so sure about that Dougie. Ach, he'll get his. Remember what Mr. Zorro said about our new arrival? Oh, aye. That's this week, isn't it? I believe so. Let's see how high and mighty Henry is when he arrives. A few days later, something very peculiar happened at Lower Knapford, where Thomas and Toby were sleeping after a hard night at Elsbridge Harbour. I'm sure they were enjoying their rest when suddenly...
We'll be right back. On Nick. Now back to the show. On Nick.
What was that? I don't know, but wait! Over there! I didn't see the engine, did you? No, and I didn't recognise the whistle. I'll tell you what, judging from the sound, there must have been close to 30 trucks on that train. Even Henry would be hard-pressed to pull that many. I hate to say it, but maybe the middies got themselves a new addition. Why the middies? Why not us? Because if we were the ones to get a new recruit, Mr. Starr would have surely said something. I hate when you're right, Toby. And right, Toby was. Not long after, we discovered the engine was indeed the middies' new heavy goods engine, a Stania 8F named Peter. To be frank, this was a day we should have seen coming. Ever since 1935, the LMS had been churning out 8Fs from its workshop at Crewe to serve as its primary heavy goods engine, so it was only a matter of time before one ended up on Sodor. And my word, did he make an impact on the island's goods industry. Because of his robust design, he was able to pull trains of immense scale, often single-handed. Needless to say, Henry was none too thrilled and worked himself hard to meet this new competition. Unfortunately, Peter's efforts turned the goods industry in the middies' favour, and we began losing contracts to them. To make matters worse, as I would discover, Peter was a very pleasant chap. That day started off like any other. I woke up fresh as a daisy, ready to take out the first commuter service. After being cold and watered, I picked up my train and off I went. All was going well as I carried down the main line until I reached Lower Knapford, where I started feeling sick. I would later find out I had taken on some bad water that was slowly clogging my pipes. It was a struggle for me to reach the next few stations, and as I approached Wellsworth, I dreaded what lay beyond. Gordon's Hill, as the Preston Incline had been renamed following our number 4's breakdown upon it. Just as a side note, he wasn't too happy when he heard about this, unlike the rest of us. But as I approached the incline, in the condition that I was in, I sometimes wonder if it might have been dubbed Edward's Hill if I had tried to climb it. Thankfully, I would be spared such humiliation. Okay, Edward, you've struggled long enough, but I think it's time to call it quits. No, Harry, I'm fine. Just give me a moment to catch my breath. You've been hard at it since Elsbridge, Edward. Don't think I haven't noticed. Well, it's not like we have a lot of options now, do we? Wrong. We can have someone else take this train. No, we can't. We can't afford any delays. Not when our reputation is as brittle as it is. And if you should clonk out on the hill, what will that do to our reputation? Face it, Edward, you won't be going anywhere else today. Bother! Pardon me, is something wrong? Edward, isn't it? Yes, that's it. Don't mind me, I'm just a little flustered. You look beyond flustered, Edward. Oh, he is. He's ill and he's stubborn. A dangerous mix. I have to get this train to Crovan's Gate. Skarloey will be waiting. Crovan's Gate? I've got to pass through there on my way to Barrow. How about I pull you along? Pull me along? As well as your train and mine? You can't be that strong, surely. I'll do it solo if I have to. But do you think you can muster any steam? Certainly. I have plenty. Brill. You give what you've got. Together, we should make it over the hill, no worries. Well, all right, I'm willing to give it a go. Great. I'll get into position and we'll get rolling. Huh, what a nice chap. I'll admit, I was sceptical about how well this would work, as I really didn't think Peter would be strong enough to pull such a massive train. But I didn't really have a choice. You ready back there? Ready? Without delay, Peter surged forward and I took off after him with all the resistance of an empty truck. All I could do was trail behind him, utterly gobsmacked by his strength. Hey, what's he doing? Here it comes! Give me all you got! Right! You see? Nothing to it! Well done, old boy! Will you be alright from here, Edward? Absolutely fine, Peter. Thank you very much. No worries. Take care. Well, good morning, Skarloey. Good morning, Edward. What was that about? Why was Peter pulling you? Oh, I wasn't feeling too well, so he helped me get over Gordon's Hill, and then some. That was very generous of him. Too right. I tell you what, my opinion of the middies is at an all-time high thanks to him. Good to hear. With so many of you sharing the same tracks, it's about time you learned to get along. Truer words were never spoken. Morning, Diesel.
Ah, Peter! There you are! Where were you last night?
Barrow. The lift bridge malfunctioned, so I had to spend the night on the mainland.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought maybe you'd gone over to the Nor'easters.
Why would I do that?
Colin told me he saw you helping Edward. Are you off your nut?
What's wrong with that?
Peter, maybe you don't understand how business works, but you don't get ahead by helping out the competition.
Hang about. Didn't Colin once help out a Nor'easter?
There's a world of difference between letting an engine get blown up and leaving a museum piece like Edward to rust in place.
That's your reason? I shouldn't have helped him because he's old? Brilliant logic, Diesel.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Oh, morning, sir.
Good morning, Mrs. O. So, Peter, you helped Edward yesterday, did you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're in for it now. Not quite. Congratulations, Peter.
Excuse me, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Indeed.
Turns out one of the passengers on Edward's train yesterday was a reporter for the Sodor Tribute, who wrote a glowing article about your run between Wellsworth and Crovens Gate, going on at length about the selflessness at which you helped the, quote, old iron engine. This is marvellous. You can't buy this kind of PR. With respect, sir, I didn't do it for the publicity. I did it because it was the right thing.
Right. Of course you did.
Just make sure to repeat that if any reporters come asking.
Keep up the good work.
What were you saying, Diesel?
Grrr!
I wish I could say Diesel was the only angry engine on the island that day, but I wasn't too overjoyed after one of the workmen showed me the latest issue of the Sodor Tribute and a certain article it contained. I took extreme issue with the upstart reporter calling me old iron. Even if I was in my late 40s at this time, which was old for an engine, that didn't justify using such slander. Nonetheless, the article had the unintentional benefit of bringing back some of our passengers, as they were apparently impressed by my willingness to press on in spite of my wretched health. Unfortunately, that article also benefited the middies, as it showcased Peter's strength in vivid detail. As such, we continued losing ground to the LMS and were reduced to a handful of loyal goods clients. The quarry, the dairy, and the coal mine, that's all we've got left. This is ridiculous. I blame that wretched Sodor Tribute. Oh, don't you start, James. You're just sore because they wrote about your breakdown with the Express. Too right I am. Because of them, my guard got dragged before an inquiry for apparent recklessness. Never mind the fact his idea blooming worked. It's an outrage, James, but it's one we'll have to focus on another time.
Aye, besides we've been losing ground to the middies ever since Peter showed up. It's got nothing to do with the tribute.
There has to be something we can do. Like what? None of us can match Peter's strength, not even Henry, and we can't work any harder than we already are. Again, neither can Henry. That hasn't stopped him from trying. Henry is running himself ragged, and I'm not enjoying a single second of it. Blimey, Henry, you look terrible.
I feel as green as my paintwork.
If you keep this up, you'll knock yourself to bits, Henry.
And what's the alternative, Percy? Do I just sit idly by and let that wretched 8F take away my trains? Maybe I should hire myself to the scrapyard since I've become so worthless.
No one is saying you're worthless, Henry, and no one blames you for our losses.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap. Look, I overheard what James was saying, and he's right. What else can we do other than what we've been doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That man has remarkably good timing. All right, let's skip the formalities and get straight down to business. First off, I appreciate how hard you've all been working. You've all done exceptionally well, but it's abundantly clear to me that you need help. To that end, I've arranged for another engine to join us here on Sodor.
Another engine, sir?
What sort, sir? Heavy goods? Not heavy goods, but he does specialize in freight. According to his supervisors on the mainland, he's one of the best. What's his name, sir? Eric. He'll be arriving tomorrow, and I've told him to report to the oil depot. Fortunately, I've been able to keep hold of that client. Oh, thank you, sir. We need all the help we can get. It's no problem, Henry. You deserve it. You all do. There isn't a director in all of the Empire who's more proud of his engines than I am right now. Good night, everyone. A new engine! How exciting! Oh, we didn't ask what class he is. As long as he's helpful, who really cares? With that sentiment in mind, we all fell asleep smiling. The Lower Knapford Oil Depot was another project built under the auspices of the Sodor construction scheme. On a regular basis, we would deliver crude oil and petrol about the island. On this day, a large shipment of both needed to be delivered to Knapford Harbour for export to the mainland. Oi, James, those tankers full yet? Almost. They had to fix a leak in the pipes first before they could start pumping. Did they fix it with bootlaces too? Oh, ha ha, very funny, Thomas. I thought so. Ha ha ha. Alright, there we are. I gotta say, this has to be the biggest order of petrol we've filled yet. It's hardly surprising. It seems like every week there are more and more cars on the roads. They reckon it won't be long before every household in England has one. Maybe even two. Two? Blimey! And let's not forget the growing number of lorries rambling about. I gotta say, the increase in road traffic has me a little nervous. I wouldn't worry about it. Even if it gets to the point where every person is driving, I still think trains will have a place in the world. I guess time will tell if you're right. Ah, James, listen. I just got a call from Mr. Starr and he needs you at Carlton right away. Why? Is something wrong? There's a goods train that Percy was meant to take, but he's been delayed. It's essential it goes out today. Hang about. I need James here. I can't handle this lot on my own. There's no point arguing about it, Thomas. Or rather, not with Mr. Starr. I guess. You'll manage. You always do. Good luck. Manage? Between these trucks and those tankers, I'm looking at close to a dozen trips. I don't see that we have much of a choice, Thomas. We don't, but still. Hold up. Whose whistle was that? Hello, I'm Eric. You must be Thomas. Real nice to meet you. Yeah, that's me. Thomas. You alright there, Thomas? Sorry, it's just Mr. Starr told us we were getting a new goods engine, but he didn't say you were a tank engine. Do you really take goods trains? All the time and always on time. Huh, that's catchy. Thanks. I made that up. Well, I'm glad you're here because all this needs to go to Knapford Harbour. Alright, let's get them coupled up and... Hold up. Do you mean all of them? Of course. Why make a dozen trips when we can just do one? Can you pull this lot on your own? Maybe, but I figure we can double-head it. You can show me the way to Knapford then. Huh, I like the way you think, and so will Mr. Starr. Cheers. Well, let's get to it then, eh? Too right. Alright, here we go. Whoa! Blimey! You work fast, don't you? Like my old man just said, fast, and faster still. Well, Mr. Starr does value speed, but he values safety and efficiency more. Thanks, I'll remember that. Wow, that was incredible. I can't believe how fast we got here. Great work. Thanks. Hello, Thomas. I see you've made a friend. Yep, Eric, meet Toby. Hello, Toby. You're Eric? Really? I already went through the tank engine bit, Toby. I see. Well, tank engine or not, you've made a very good first impression. Cheers. In turn, we all made our acquaintances with Eric. He became firm friends with us all, especially Henry, who was thrilled to be working alongside another dedicated goods engine. Thanks to their combined efforts, we slowly reclaimed some of our lost clients and even made new ones. Mr. Starr was very right to bring Eric into our ranks. He became a real asset, especially on the branch line. But that's a story for another day.